of a mess. Okay, and I'm going to demo here with you guys. So for the stripe and the plaid, here's the pattern for the stripe, and here's the pattern for the plaid. Look at that. They look absolutely identical. Because guess what? They are identical, except for the fact is that if you look at the patterns here, you will notice something. What's the difference? Yeah, there you go. So you can see that the grain line, there we go. The grain line for the stripe is meant to be placed on the fabric like that versus the grain line on this. Now, this is a woven stripe, and of course I don't have wide enough fabric. Is this? Yeah. Oh no, it may not be big enough. Is it big enough? Is it long enough? I'll just use that one. Because there's actually a trick to this. Okay, so this is a woven, so that means that the stripes in this particular case, here's the selvage edge, like I had mentioned in the piece of muslin over there. So that's the finished edge of the fabric. So we know that the grain is running this direction, which means the stripes are on the grain versus stripes that might be on the cross grain. Okay, so when you're cutting stripes and you want them to match in the chevron, what I like to do is I like to take my fabric like this, and I like to fold it in half. And the fold line is on the cross grain versus folding fabric like that way on the grain. So I like to fold it on the cross grain like that, okay? And trying my best to line up all the edges. And then I will come here with the pattern like that, and I will lay it on my fabric, making certain that I've lined it up like that. Now I'm going to need my weights. Not that one. Not that one. Okay. All righty. So, it's not very sharp, is it? I'm going to use here a tailoring. Oh, wow. Whoa, you're not going to work for me, are you? Let's see it. Blue. It's not sharp. Get this out and get everything out. Hold on a quick second. There we go. Because I want to show you guys some other marking tools. So we've seen pencils. I've shown you the purple pen, right? Right? We did the purple pen, and then I showed you the Frixion, okay? Yeah. And you could use the Frixion for this. That would be perfectly fine. But since I'm trying to show you guys other marking tools, I might as well use them, right? So this is a tailoring pencil, which is basically very similar to like a Prismacolor pencil, you know, but it's specially designed for drawing on fabric. So I'm just going to come here like that, and of course your pieces will be wide enough to do that versus mine. Okay, now you'll see here on the instructions, it says this side only, add 3/4 of an inch seam allowance directly to the fabric. So that would be this piece. So what I'm going to now do, and this is what you guys are going to be doing now, is learning to draw your own seam allowance. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the seam allowance like that, 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just using the grid ruler, finding 3/4 like that. And I'm going to go ahead and extend up my line like that, and then as best I can, my line up like that. Okay, so now, and I only have to do it on the one side because that's where the seam is going to be. So I don't need to worry about it anywhere else. So now I'm going to go ahead and I want to go through and I want to pin the two pieces of fabric together like this. Okay. Use my rotary cutter again because it's so fast. They seem like they're scary, the rotary cutters, when you first start to use them, but once you get used to them, you'll go like, why do I ever use scissors? To prevent carpal tunnel, that's the answer to that one. Because if you only use this all the time, you will develop carpal tunnel. So I do always recommend that. Don't abandon your scissors. Switch back and forth all the time because the repetitiveness of the motion, especially if you're going to wind up being someone who cuts all the time. It's a really good thing. Okay, so now hopefully if I've cut this correctly, and I actually pin now directionally on that line that I made, let's see how good let's see how good I did. Let's see. But don't worry, we can always adjust it. Okay. So now we've got that, and we'll go like, not bad. Okay. Alrighty. So that little trick of taking the stripes, folding it on the cross grain like this, really makes it a lot easier than trying to go pattern and then go and try to match it the other way. It's a very easy. Now, I won't say that you're able to do it with every single stripe you ever encounter, but the stripes I gave you, yes, most definitely yes. So it makes it a lot easier in terms of that. Now, the hard one is the next one, plaid.